Welcome back, everyone. Uh, the big trio is back for another podcast. Hope the trio tribe that's been listening to us have been enjoying the first few podcasts we put out there. Today is our fourth one. We entitled this, what did we entitle this again? A Skunk's Journey. I think it was something like that. Um, and so we're going to continue with Skunk. This pretty much wraps up most of the things Skunk has done that's stupid. Um, but he'll still reappear here and there because there's always little stupid things that happen. But today we're going to be talking about his girlfriend number three, quote unquote girlfriend number three, because he says they were in a relationship. I don't know if that actually was the case based on what you're going to hear today. You'll see why. So before we begin, I'm just going to talk a little bit about Skunk's financial situation before he went on this little adventure of his. He was flat fucking broke. He had no job. He had no money. He decided to go on this adventure, which was ill-advised by all of us, because you'll hear why. It was just a stupid move. I think he thought he was in like some sort of like Bollywood Hollywood movie where like he was gonna where he was gonna go get that girl at the airport and she was gonna run into his arms or some shit. But it's fucking hilarious. So we'll get into that. He was flat broke though. He had absolutely no money. He was gonna go halfway across the country, and the lies that ensued on his way there, during there, and back, and what he was doing over there are just absolutely stupid. We figured it out. But the unsolved behavior here is going to be pretty easy to figure out because once we start the story. So we're going to begin with how he met quote unquote girlfriend number three. So Brown, why don't you head off with that?
We we were on vacation as usual. So this is where all these funny things start to happen. I don't know if it's in the water, in the air, in the sand, or what happens, but we were on vacation. I think I was on the beach with you, Yellow, and we were just chilling there. And she was sitting underneath the hut in front of us with a friend, and I think we just kind of looked over at each other as we were doing our usual scamping shit. And yeah, we looked over each other. We're like, you know what? Let's just hit on them for the sake of it. And we had no idea what she even looked like because their backs were to us. So I think I looked over because she was on her phone. So I looked over at her and I was like, hey, I'm like, your cell phone bill must be high or some shit like that. And she turned around with the friend. That's when we actually had a good look at her. And she was like, oh no, my dad is like the exec of TELUS or some crap like that. And yeah, like I get my phone bill paid for, but it's already at $400 and blah blah blah. So that was kind of our way in to get a conversation going. So we were just talking and chit chatting and shit. And in our mind, I think we thought of it the same time. We're like, you know what? Number three here, or this girl, would be perfect for Skunk. Because we're like, she meets the same
True.
criteria.
I want White to interject here for a second and be like, what does I think you'd never met girlfriend number three.
No.
But what does she look like? Like you saw a picture, right? But
I saw a picture of her.
Yeah. So what does she look like? There's a theme here that has carried on from girlfriend to girlfriend to girlfriend.
It's not good.
that is the main. That is the main theme. What color is her hair? There you go. the mousy, whitish trash, like blonde. I think she changed her hair color at some point, but it began out as blonde.
Yeah, it was like freckles, and then I don't even know if it was freckles. And she had like a fucking nose ring, like I think a tongue ring, multiple earrings. But that's like we didn't even get that far with her yet. I think it was something else that sketched you out. But it was funny because we looked at each other and we thought the same. We're like, there's no way either of us was continue to hit on this, but we're like, we have the perfect candidate for her.
Yep, we
And,
did.
and this was the perfect candidate for him. So that description, like what White said there, that's like perfect. That was exactly like that nailed it. That's exactly. Just picture that in like a. I can't remember the bikini she was wearing, but it wasn't anything that good, anyways. But I think what sketched you out was when that fucking dog came over.
Oh, yes.
The dog came over, and she started petting the dog, and
Hold on a second. It wasn't just a dog. It wasn't like a nice
Okay, you can give the
home dog.
description of.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice home dog, like one that came off like a leash and like came over and you went to go pet it. This was a stray, flea infested like dog that we've seen each and every time. Wait, I think you remember this dog. Every time we're on the beach in that area, you weren't here on this trip, but there's this one dog. You describe it.
Dog that roams that beach looking for that free food.
Exactly, and not only that, like it was like somehow missing an eye, like it was like winking at you the whole time, looking for you to eat that hot dog.
Like cockeye or something.
Yeah, cockeye. It looked straight at you, but it looked to the side at the same time. So it might have looked at white or brown at the same time. So it was absolutely. You saw that it didn't bathe for a while. Like whatever. I feel bad for the dog. It's a stray dog that's hungry. Whatever. But you go from here. When she was petting that dog, what was happening after?
The dog came over and we kind of because she was eating the hot dog, so she had already taken like at least a bite or two. So when the dog came over, it went to the friend first, and the friend kind of like just passed it off, and then she grabbed the stray dog and started like playing with him, and then there was a few kisses on the side on the dog. And
Oh man!
remember we looked at each other and we're like, what the fuck is going on here? And I saw her, it was like in slow motion, but I saw her pick up the hot dog, and I'm like, okay, she's probably gonna feed it to the dog, but she fed it to herself.
Oh no!
She was rubbing that dog down.
Yo,
She
that
fed-
it was. Sorry, Brown, you cut out.
No, she fed herself the hot dog instead of giving it to the stray dog. Then her explanation to us afterwards was because we were like, "You're playing with that dog like that, stray dog." She's like, "I'm used to rescuing like dogs back home. I'm used to like, but these are not regular dogs that you rescue. This is literally a dog that looks like it's just infested by like diseases."
Yeah, if you can imagine like the zombies on Walking Dead, but dog version, like coming at you. It came at you slow. It came at you hungry. It came at you cockeyed, and and this girl it wasn't just petting, man. Like she was like legit two-hand massaging this dog, and then picked up that hot dog, and then ate it without washing her hands, bro. She did not wash her hands.
I'm pretty sure she licked her fingers and even kissed them.
Oh man!
The kissing I saw, you mentioned that. The other part is absolute. That's fucking disgusting, man. It's gross.
Anyways,
yeah, go ahead.
the more that part of it is, the more I get sick. But like, you can keep talking about it 'cause it's just disgusting. Like that whole scenario was just disgusting. But the funny thing is, in our heads, we still thought she was the right candidate.
We did. As disgusting as she was, this is typical skunk style chick that he likes.
I need to ask a question. Where was Skunk during this dog incident?
Oh, Skunk was this actually that's a very good question because Skunk was back at the hotel. This was like maybe I would say probably like a year after he broke up with girlfriend number 2, and he was still sulking about everything. Remember that?
He went back to go glue a patch on his head together. But no, that's the truth. I remember now. He actually went back. He went back there to sulk for one. He was fucking pissy and shit. So he was smoking and he was acting all extra depressed. But he also went to go patch something else on his head. Skunk trip.
Yeah. It is true. He did do that. And he was sulking the whole trip, which was like you would think like at that time we were younger, and like when you break up with a girl, what do guys usually do? They go and try, and especially on vacation, you're gonna go out and you're gonna try and get girls and just smash. This guy was so sulky, and it was 1 year past the time they broke up, or not even broke up. She cheated on him, and then broke off with him, which is even worse. So I don't know what you're upset about. But anyways, yeah, he was sulking in the room. We were trying to get him out, but he was in the room doing that thing with his head and also sulking like a baby. Very good question. Very good question.
I think afterwards too. So you and I don't think we left with them. We left them there, and you and I walked back. We were going back to the hotel because we were talking about it and how we were gonna hype him up. Remember? I think we were gonna like hype her up to him when we get back. Like, yo, this is like perfect. Like, he'll like fuck off now, and he won't be such a sourpuss, because he was literally bringing the momentum down from any group of girls that we met. He would be the sourpuss. He'd be angry. You'd want to fight them and shit. Like, and you wouldn't get
by the end of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get shit. So we went back and we talked to him about it. And we mentioned it, and I think he didn't believe us. He was in like disbelief. Like, nah, you guys are shit talking. And it wasn't until they came over to that pool area where we were kind of chilling, and I think you introduced them to him.
Yes. So from that point, there was I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not exaggerating. I don't exaggerate about this stuff. This girl I don't give out 9 out of 10s a lot. This girl from Russia was a legit 9 out of 10. I would never be able to catch this girl in my home city, a caliber girl like this, but I don't know. I think I have superhuman powers when I go on vacation. And I saw her and I went to go talk to her. We'll be in a later episode of another series that we'll talk about another time. Those stories are a little bit more X-rated and R-rated at another time. But I saw her and I want to go talk to her. And girlfriend number 3 was right beside her. So I went to the pool, and you guys, I think, were playing like water volleyball, right?
Playing volleyball.
Yeah, you were playing water. So I'm like, screw this. I'm not going to play volleyball. I'm going to go talk to this girl. So I go up to the girl, and then as I went up to near her, I saw the girlfriend number 3 and her friend, and Mr. Skunk was up in the poolside, lying down, lounging, having a smoke, and like being the most sour puss face I've ever seen in my life. So I'm like, fuck, let's get this guy going. So I called at him. I'm like, Skunk, like, come meet our new friends. And he's like, what? And I'm like, just get over here into the pool now. And he's like, okay. So he comes in, and I'm like, hey, girlfriend number 3, this is Skunk. Like, I think you guys should meet. Like, you guys would get along very well. And you should have seen Skunk's demeanor. It went from sulky, puss face, sour puss face. This guy's chest puffed out. He was full of confidence. And this guy took over that conversation like nobody's business. I was glad to let that go because I was trying to go get the other girl. So this guy goes in there. He's like laughing his ass off. Ha, ha, ha. That's legitimately how he was laughing. He was laughing as if like I don't even know how to describe it. It was like some cartoon character came out of him, full of confidence. And so he started talking to her, and I'm like, good. This guy's finally out of his sourpuss phase. I'm gonna leave him alone. I'm gonna talk to this girl. And then I think later that evening, we told those girls. He for some reason was still stupid. He was gonna let them go. And I'm like, yo, we're gonna pre-drink in the lobby tonight at the hotel. You girls come join us. Skunk will be there. And then and they're like, okay, we're gonna get ready and come. And we left the pool, and Skunk, as if rejuvenated by cocaine, even though he doesn't have any, was fucking high as a kite for the next 2 hours getting ready. This guy was spraying cologne everywhere. He was so happy, and then we get to the lobby, and so why don't Brown, you take over that lobby game that day?
That lobby game was fucking hilarious. That's where shit started. That we were like, "Yo, where'd he come from? Who's this guy?"
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was a brand new person.
Yeah, the girl came over. We usually have our group sitting at the table, so the girls came over to join us, and he's like standing up. He's like, "So who wants drinks? You want a drink? You want a drink? You want a drink?" Even though it was all inclusive, it was fucking free. But he's gonna go get drinks for everybody all of a sudden. So this guy goes over to the bar, and I remember looking over, and he's ordering the drinks, and he turns around, and it's like, I'm not even kidding you, it's like right out of a commercial or for like Durex or like some testosterone shit. But he turns around and he's got both of his hands like spread over the fucking counter, looking back at them with that big smile on his face. And and I'm looking, I'm like, what is this guy doing? And I remember when he was walking over with the tray of all the drinks, his chest is like all puffed out and shit. And I'm pretty sure the chest was like holding the drinks. And he walked over and he's dishing out drinks and he's sitting beside the girl and he's all confident shit. He's like trying to tell people off, make fun of them and stuff. And we're like, oh, wait a minute. This was the guy that literally looked like the fucking stray dog we saw on the beach. He's alive and like Paw Patrol. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And so I remember we were just chilling there or whatever. And another guy that was on the trip with us, he's a little more aggressive. So I remember he just wanted to like just fuck around basically, and to really test Skunk. So he went and he called. He's like, first he went and called her over, and he was like, "Come sit on my lap." And she got up. I remember she got up and she was ready to go sit on the lap. And this man ran over. He got up over, and then pulled. And he's like, "No, you're coming here." I remember we were all fucking laughing because it was the most bitch shit you'll ever see, bro.
It was legitimately bitch shit. And what's funny is I think if eventually she did go to the other guy's lap and he got cheesed, right, too?
He got cheesed, but he was trying to play it off like he didn't care. He's like, nah, not my woman, I don't care. But it wasn't until he got up and he's like, I'm gonna go get smokes in the room. You wanna come follow me? That's when he started to really get sensitive. And then he was all like,
to get smokes. Who went with him to the room to get smokes?
He was calling her over. He was calling number 3 over to go to the room.
Skunk was. Oh, the other guy. Okay.
The other guy was just to test him again after she was sitting on his lap. He's like, I'm gonna go get smokes. Yeah, and then I remember his face and he looked fucking fuming, like he was about to go like kamikaze on this guy. But he eventually interrupted. I think he intervened. I don't know what he did, but I know he got her back to like sitting on the couch with him. But it was like the most bitch move ever. Very, very similar to Hamster's movements with vacation women when they first meet him.
Oh, yes.
That's we'll get back into Hamster another time, but you'll see the comparisons from these two. What's funny is they're like roommates most of the time on these vacations.
But that was pretty much the gist of like how they met, how they got introduced, and what happened. And then he came back here, and then the Toronto shit started.
Well, no, there's still one more key element that you forgot about. During that trip, Skunk was asking us, he was like, yo, what am I supposed to do? Because this other guy's being all aggressive and stuff. I'm like, yo, man, like, who cares, for one? But if you really want her, then be aggressive back. Like, don't let the other guy overtake you. Just do what you got to do to get her attention back. He's like, oh, man, like, just help me. I'm like, fuck, what do you want me to do? I don't want her. But whatever. If you want me to help you, fucking I'll help you. So eventually I helped him. I regained her attention to him by basically me, him, and her had to have a conversation together. He couldn't keep her on his own because he's like, like shit with the women. Yeah. So there was I had to talk to her while he was there, and then he would intervene and like play off of me or whatnot. He needed a third person to play off of her, or else he wasn't going to keep her. She was going to get bored of him. So eventually she stuck with him, and I fucking bounced. And remember, they went back to the room. Do you remember that part?
Here we go.
So this guy, what we did, so basically to describe to the listeners, our room is bottom floor most of the time, where basically you can walk from the level right into our balcony area. So what happened was I'm like, yo, get her back to your room like now, like she's down to come back. So just do it. So he brings her back and we're like, fuck this. I want to listen to what goes down here. So we were outside in the balcony and we opened the screen door a little bit so we can listen to like what's going down. And this guy keeps on shutting the door, which I expected him to do. But we're like, fuck this. We're just gonna open the door and we're just gonna listen to this fucker. So we open the door. I want to hear what he like says to her. This guy he started talking about slamming other women.
So he was talking his ex previous. Yeah, he was talking about number one and number two, and like how big his dick was and shit, and like he kills them in bed for a living and shit, like things like that. But he had the music. He knew we were outside, and he would lock the door, but he wouldn't lock the door fully, which was stupid. I didn't understand that. He didn't lock the door fully. Plus, he had the music on, but he was speaking louder than the music. So the music wasn't really doing anything, and he didn't realize that the other side of the sliding door was open fully. So anybody could have walked in and literally just sat there and listened. But he started going off about how like number one and number two, and how it was the best that they've ever had, and they still come back to him, and how he's damaged beds and they have to go to IKEA and replace. Like, just kept going off about how he's literally a killer in the bed to number three. And it was just pure conversations because we were there. Because the other one, I remember her friend was on the balcony puking. She was fucking passed out. She was done.
She was knocked out.
So
Yeah.
We're like, whatever, we're not going to leave her there alone. So we just kind of just put her on the balcony until these two idiots wrap their shit up. But we were listening because it was entertaining, because it was literally just him sharing stories of bedroom shit, which was probably not even true.
100% wasn't true. You couldn't make a porn movie as descriptive as what he was talking about. And what's worse was he wasn't doing anything. He was just talking about slamming. And not only that, first though, before he talked about slamming, he talked about sensitive shit with her. He's like, I miss my like ex, blah blah blah, like she was the one, blah 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 before. And then I think he felt that she was getting bored. And then that's when he caught it doing like Skunk the porn star came out and started talking about all his shit from before.
That became the conversation.
What makes this worse is that he ended up slamming this chick. She's girlfriend, quote unquote, girlfriend number 3 after this like terrible conversation.
No, that's what he told. See, this is funny because White doesn't know the full story of this because he wasn't there, and so you only caught what he told you, which was that he slammed her, but we were sitting there.
Oh, he claimed that he slammed her during that time.
Yes. No. So he didn't. Well, he claims to have slammed her that night, but we were legitimately 3 feet away from him. There was no slamming going on. If there was slamming, he like they must have done like mime slamming because there was no noises coming from it. And so whatever. At some point we got bored, and then we left to go eat. And then that's when he came strolling in, like chest out, puffed up, all smiley. And he's
no
like,
later than 10 minutes. No later than 10 minutes.
No later than 10 minutes. Because she must have heard that we left too, and she's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
So he comes out all chest out, and he's like, I'm like, yo, you looking happy. What happened? He's like, I fucking took that to town, bro. I took that to town. She doesn't even know what hit her. I'm like, okay. These seems like exact words White would talk about.
I was just gonna say he sounded exactly like him.
And then I'm saying he sounds like you when you're trying to like you're trying to big up
No way, I don't get big up. Don't worry about me.
You trying to big up? I hear you say the same word. I think he's trying to copy you. You were probably his idol.
Well, that will go into the other podcast about that whole idol.
So let's just leave it at that. And then so we came back to Toronto because I think she stayed a few days later than us. So we left a few days earlier. So I think Brown, you can take over from what happened when he was here while she was still there.
I remember him. He was telling me because I was asking him, "Yo, what's going on with that whole situation and shit?" He's like, yeah, like we're just chilling, we're just talking, whatever. He's like, yeah, he's like, yo, her friend was like fucked up, and on vacation. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yo, she was like so like the friend was so fucking smashed the one night or whatever like that when they went out, and she's a good girl. She didn't do anything. She just took care of her. Because I think I was asking him what they did for the last like 2 nights or whatever that they were there. So he's like, yeah, they went out, they drank, but like she missed me a lot because she just kept messaging me and she kept calling me and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, eh? And and he's like, yeah, he's like they went out, and the friend got like fucking smashed, and he's like, yo, remember there was like an Asian like guy there with like a friend or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I remember them because they were trying to get into with a bunch of girls that we were talking to, and it didn't work out because they're like two fobby looking like Asian guys.
Yeah,
Literally,
for some reason we called him 007.
Yeah, they had like blow up fucking ducks around their waist trying to go into like a shallow pool. Like, that's a fobby. And
and don't forget the green pajama pants to the beach.
And the green pajama pants to the beach. So that gives you an idea of these guys. So they're nothing crazy. So apparently, like she was telling them that how they chilled out with those guys for the last like 2 nights. The one guy was trying to like slam her, but she like been rejecting him. But the last night, I guess the friend got so smashed that they went back to the room, all of them, and the Asian dudes followed them. And the one Asian guy started hitting up her friend in the bedroom. So I guess they started doing their thing. And she said the other Asian one tried to do shit with her, and she rejected him, and nothing happened. So what she did instead, while the friend was slamming on the next bed, even though the beds are together, there's no separate beds. That's how these rooms are. The beds are kind of conjoined together. So I don't know what separate bed, but apparently she got into a sleeping bag. She zipped herself up.
Where did you get a sleeping bag?
She apparently abracadabra, but she got a sleeping bag, and
why would you bring a sleeping bag to a tropical country?
Maybe she didn't want to get bed bugs, but she wanted to get dog bugs.
Yeah,
so I don't understand that. But she was in the sleeping bag messaging him because I was like, yo, man, that shit sounds fucking sketchy as fuck. You're trying to tell me the friend was slamming, the other like friend was just sitting there watching those two slam, but she was like vacant and nothing was going on there. He's like, nah, man, like she was inside her sleeping bag, like texting me at the time. I'm like, how do you know that?
Just like that other man was on the couch.
Yeah. Only worse, this is in the bed this time.
I'm like, yo, how do you know that man was ramsacking the shit out of her while she's like messaging you at the same time? He's like, nah. I told her to leave the fucking room because he tried to like get in with her and she left the room for a bit. I'm like, okay. And then what happened? He's like, yeah, she followed him, or he followed her outside the room, and then she felt bad because she didn't want to leave her friend with the other friend or with the Asian man's friend. So she came back in the room, but she said nothing happened. And then his story changed because I'm like, that texting thing doesn't solve anything. He could have still been smashing the shit out of her, and you wouldn't even know. She's just messaging you to keep the convo live. And he's like, no. She called me when she left the room for a bit after, like, just before he followed her out. He's like, she called me, so I knew she was okay and she wasn't getting slammed. I'm like, okay, how long did you talk? Like, pretty much the entire time I was talking to her. Well, I'm like, okay, so you knew the guy was there? He's like, yeah. And I basically told her to tell him to fuck off. So I'm like, and he's like, yeah, and I heard her tell him to fuck off.
I want to know, first of all, where she got this reception from, because it's not a place where you, at that time, you could easily access reception. And two, I don't know how you could believe that the girl is texting you while the guy is in the room. She could have just easily slammed him and then texted him afterwards, be like, yeah, nothing happened. I'm texting you right now, but that guy was probably just already in the shower, like rubbing off like pussy juice and shit. But anyways, yeah. So there's one stupid behavior. He actually believed like. Now I'm gonna ask White. In your prime, which is like not very good, anyways.
Oh, in your prime, my prime is prime. Don't worry about
that. In your prime, if and in your experience, when we used to go out, we all used to go out, and we got girls, and they came back to the room with us or invited us back to their room. In any circumstance, did nothing happen at all? Period. Zero. They invite you back to their room, and nothing happened. You literally just. She told you to fuck off, and you still sat inside the room. If they ever told you to fuck off, you would leave. But in any of your, and that guy stayed in the room after getting told fuck off? No. So in your experience, what usually is happening if you're still in the room?
Oh, that man pounded her for sure. 100%.
I think the sleeping bag he was in was probably a condom.
Yeah. It was a metaphor for a condom or whatever you want to call it, a figurative term. That sleeping bag condom.
Like, you can't front that this isn't your woman and you're going to tell people that you don't give a fuck about her. She's just a vacation fuck and like whatever. But then you're like stressing and you're telling her to tell some next man that just wants to put it in to go fuck off. Then that means that shows something. You can't be that stupid. But there's more to this shit. But I don't know. I think we're running out of time here.
We are getting there. I think. What do you guys think? Should we continue? I thought we were going to be able to wrap this up today, but maybe not.
It's pretty deep with Skunk because
we're not even back from vacation yet.
Yeah,
that's true. We haven't even gotten to his journey.
No.
All right. Okay. I think. Yeah. The journey is pretty deep. All right. Let's wrap it up then. Let's wrap it up. I think that would take another whole podcast to talk about his journey. Okay. Well then, I guess this was more like a background of how Skunk met girlfriend number 3. And at this point, you get a good idea of this woman that he's trying to chase after, and already the stupid behaviors that were going on just via vacation. So I guess either we'll continue with him again next time, or we were talking about maybe headed back to Hamster, because Hamster has some stupid ass shit. I think maybe next time we go back to Hamster. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I say we do Hamster. You can always flip back.
Yeah, because Hamster does intersect into this story because he was on that vacation as well. So there's a whole bunch of shit that he was doing that branches off from this. So maybe we'll get back to Hamster next time, and then we'll continue with Skunk another time. But you're gonna want to hear about his epic broke journey. So you can reach the Trio Tribe here. Can reach all of us at the Big Trio 3. That's the Big Trio with the number 3 on Instagram. And then each of our accounts is the Big Trio _yellow _white and _brown. Just let us know what you think so far about Skunk. You've had 3 full episodes on this guy, so you get a good idea of his stupidity, and we're not even halfway done with him yet. So White, Brown, you got anything to add about this?
I'm gonna save it for the podcast on him.
Okay, what about White?
Yeah, no, I'm excited to learn some more stuff.
Yeah, White's been left out of this one a little bit because he wasn't there on this one.
He plays a crucial role on where the turn happens, so
yeah.
You gotta stay tuned for that one.
Don't worry, I'll be involved soon.
Yeah, that one, you're front and center of that part. So we thought we would get there today, but we didn't quite get there. But yeah, you're gonna play a good front and center part on that one. So until next time, I am the Big Trio Yellow,
Big Trio White,
Big Trio Brown,
and we are the Big Trio. And talk to you guys next time.